Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. First of all, I think that Alexander Stuart in his closing earlier on spoke about the abandonment of communities, and Neil Bibby also touched upon the issue regarding the cost of living. Well, I wish that their colleagues in Inverclyde Council last week had decided to accept the £2.9 million from the Scottish Government, as compared to Labour Party councillors actually voting against it, and the Conservative councillors sitting on their hands and abstaining. Neil Bibby also touched upon Estonia. Now, that's the thing. Estonia, he was talking about the 30 years, but they were an independent country. They are an independent country. They had that decision, and they chose to do that as an independent country, as compared to the situation had beforehand. But, Presiding Officer, I am pleased to be speaking in today's debate, and I do welcome the latest Building a New Scotland paper, called An Independent Scotland's Place in the World, which shows how Scotland can take its place on the international stage as the 194th member of the United Nations. Now, this paper makes clear that the Scottish Government's vision for our country to join the global community of nations and as an independent Scotland in the UN, the EU and NATO will hold the powers needed to protect its citizens and prosper in the global community. This is especially important at a time when every nation faces immense global challenges, from climate change to energy and also to the security crisis that we see day in, day out. Now, Scotland must face those challenges through more, not less, cooperation with our fellow Europeans and also the wider international community. And however, Scotland is being prohibited from pursuing such approaches due to a Brexit that we did not vote for, which has seen the UK retreat from positive, values-based foreign policy. Now, whilst Brexit Britain obsesses over, and I quote, stopping the boats, an outward-looking independent Scotland would commit to multilateralism and also the eradication of global poverty. In fact, despite the limitations of devolution, Scotland already plays its part on the world stage. Now, we have an enviable reputation with a strong international profile and a large global diaspora. And with independence, these global linkages could actually be maximised for the benefit of Scotland's people, businesses and also institutions. And I think this is particularly important, as I've previously spoken with the Cabinet Secretary regarding potential work to connect Scotland to our diaspora in Australia and also New Zealand. And the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the CPA, has helped cultivate these conversations. And I hope that my fellow CPA colleagues across the Chamber will agree that the Scottish Parliament's engagement with the organisation has been important for helping boost Scotland's reputation and Scotland's name within the Commonwealth. And I know, Deputy Presiding Officer, you formerly were a member of the Scotland branch of the CPA, so you will know exactly how important our branch is and how important the job that our branch plays within the wider CPA. But with independence, we could build on our strengths and take our place alongside our fairer, happier neighbours, and it would provide us with the opportunity to develop a genuinely different and progressive approach to overseas aid and also development. Now, for example, over the last decade, the UK has squandered its international leadership on aid. In contrast, the Scottish Government would use the full powers of independence to meet the UN target of 0.7% gross national income on official development assistance. And this would safeguard a sizeable aid budget with which Scotland can make a real positive impact in the world's poorest countries. An independent Scotland would also be more ambitious on tackling the climate and biodiversity crisis, making a positive contribution to the planet and also to its people. And Scotland could join its voice with others, including those in the global south, to champion their perspectives on climate justice and advocate for global vaccine equity or for debt relief. Now, Presiding Officer, some detractors will always like to say that Scotland is too small to have an impact in the world. But smaller countries already lead effectively on the international stage. Now, Finland, for example, has passed one of the world's most ambitious climate targets into law, acting as a global exemplar. And independence can therefore unlock even greater influence, working with partners within the EU and beyond to demonstrate how a fair transition to net zero greenhouse gas emissions is actually possible. Now, crucially, an independent Scotland would be nuclear-free. Immediately upon securing a vote for independence, the Scottish Government would pursue negotiations with a view to securing the expeditious removal from Scotland of the nuclear weapons, based for over half a century just across the Clyde from my constituency. And there's no reason why this should be an obstacle to NATO membership. And after all, only a minority of NATO members actually host nuclear weapons. The Finland's accession to NATO I'm in my final minutes, I'm sorry. Finland's accession to NATO proves that hosting nuclear weapons is not a precondition for membership. And I therefore fully support nuclear weapons being removed from an independent Scotland in the safest and swiftest manner possible. And we do, of course, need to consider how Scotland would protect itself. So I welcome the pillars of defence outlined in the latest Building a New Scotland paper. And to conclude, Presiding Officer, when the UN was established in 1945, it had 51 members. Today, it has 193. Independence is normal. I want us to be 194, so why not Scotland? Thank you.
Thank you.